Welcome back, everybody. Emphasis on the come. No, I'm kidding. Welcome back, everybody. We're Beyond Movies. I'm Callum. That's Kyle. Drinking his Sprite. No, turn it other way, mate. They're not paying us. So, can't be having any
Man.
Sprite up in this bitch. Kyle, how's your day been?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. Right. Should we get into our first topic?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say the time I want you to say yes, and you just went. So, this is a rumour. One I don't know how thingy, how reliable it is, but a couple of big outlets are picking it up now. So fuck it, let's run with it. We'll talk about if we believe it or not, and then what we think of it. So, Henry Cavill is being eyed to star in the Nova series for Marvel Studios. Now, me personally, I don't believe this because, one, I think Henry Cavill is a bit too busy. And I know we've had some pretty big name actors do Disney Plus shows. I think Cavill's a bit too big for Disney Plus as well. Now, don't get me wrong. He did The Witcher and stuff like that. He's not opposed to doing TV. He's doing his Warhammer show as TV. So, maybe. But I just don't quite see it. Maybe if it was a film, I'd believe it. But the fact that it's a series is making me not want to believe it. But what are your thoughts on this? Like, Henry Cavill coming to the MCU. He's already in the MCU, kinda. But, do you believe it?
No. Not at all. You've got to look at the whole, from a realistic perspective. He's busy doing Warhammer stuff, which, if you know Henry Cavill, he loves his Warhammer, so I really don't see how he's got the time to put all his effort into that and then do another show where he's got, he's just acting, but, this guy likes to get involved with movies that he's in, Superman and all the other shebang that he's really sort of appeared in. And with this and it being Marvel, I can imagine he would want to get involved and, get involved in behind the scenes. What?
Are you watching Paw Patrol?
No way.
I just hear video it back.
Sorry, yeah, probably gonna get copyright strike for that, but I mean, we're not earning, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, it's very, very unlikely. Now, would I love to see Henry Cavill pop up as Nova? Yeah, probably. Would I like him to pop up in the MCU as any character, anyways? Yeah, probably. Will it happen right now or anytime soon? Probably not. So that's my sort of answer to that question. If it does turn out to be true, it will surprise the fuck out of me. But at the same time, it would leave me on a bit of a weird, ooh, what does this mean for the Warhammer show? Because I know me and you, we've kind of delved our, dipped our toes into the Warhammer universe a little bit. And it's really exciting to see that one of our favourite actors, Henry Cavill, is, taking on a big responsibility with the show from what it sounds like. And it wouldn't be, it just kind of makes me lose a bit of hope in that Henry Cavill isn't as involved as we first initially thought. But again, I very much doubt that. You look at any interview with Henry Cavill, there's a lot of them out there where he loves nerding out at Warhammer. I'm pretty sure it's like a meme at this point, but in a good way.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, like you said, I'd love to see Henry do anything in the MCU, I'm pretty sure he could pull off a pretty good Nova. But he's got a lot going on. I think he's got too much going on. Like, right now, I think he's got too much going on. Because he's doing a Highlander as well, isn't he, with Chad Stahelski. He's got that going on, which is going to go
Didn't know he was involved in that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So that's just proving our point even more. So I don't think it's going to happen.
No. Do I think some point in the future we see a Cavalry cameo again? Abso-fucking-lutely. Secret
It's
Wars.
more likely.
Secret Wars, mate. We're getting a Cavill reign. You know?
I won't put all my chips on the table for that cameo, but I would say this is the possibility of, Henry Cavill showing up in the future is possible. To what, is he going to be the main character, or would he sort of just be, a character in universe that has like a cameo-esque type of thing? We don't know. I couldn't really say right now because, like you say, he's a big actor, but big actors have gone into the MCU and they've had their big show off, I guess. But we'll have to wait and see. I think there's no room for something like this, anyways. Obviously, we do have Nova that is coming, supposedly.
Well, no, Brad
still waiting for Armor
Brad
Wars.
Winterbomb's confirmed it, and Nova is and Armor Wars is on hold. Like, because that went to a film, and they're not currently working on it, so that's.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Will we get Armor Wars at all?
Mm.
But yeah, no, we got quite a few topics coming from the man Brad Winterbomb today. It's actually quite a
dropping the bomb.
Dropping the bomb on the Winterbomb
on topics.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on to our next topic. And Kyle, Daredevil Born Again. We talked about this on Monday.
When haven't we talked about it?
Well, no, we talked about this on Monday. That we're getting a 2-episode premiere. And we thought, wow, that's fucking brilliant. And then I sent you the thing with the episode lengths on. The first 2 episodes at least are looking nice and lengthy. And apparently throughout, they're all going to be about 50 to 45 minutes. Which is great. That's a lot better than Disney Plus average. Now, so
5-minute an episode.
Yeah, with 7-minute credits, which we discovered on WandaVision when we first watched that.
Well, that and the sometimes the intro as well. Right.
Yeah. So we get a 2-episode premiere on March 4th, March 5th in the UK, and then we get episode 3 on March 11th, or March 12th for us. Then we get episode 4 on March 18th, or March 19th for us. And then, Kyle, we get episodes 5 and 6 on March 25th, or March 26th for us. So we get a 2-episoder right in the middle. And then there's no release date for episode 7, 8, or 9 just yet. Now, you're going to want to hope they get it out just before Andor, because Andor Season 2 premieres on April 22nd. So, you're going to think they're going to kind of want to get it out before then. But do you see them doing a bundled episode and then going back to, then episode 7, episode 8, episode 9, or then do you see them bundling the last 3 episodes together? Why do you think 5 and 6 are bundled together? Me personally, I think 5 and 6 are just going to be a big story that you need both episodes for. There's some people on the less optimistic side, which is probably the side I see you falling on, is they're just 2 really short episodes, so that's why they're together. But I'd like to hope it's for narrative purpose that they put the 2 episodes together. I know Agatha started with 2 episodes and finished with 2 episodes. But yeah, we don't have release dates for the last 3. But
here's my big gripe about the short episodes and the releasing of them, of how they're sort of together. Like,
but we know these are going to be longer episodes, so it can't be the 5. It can't be the short episodes.
I don't know. It could just be, like you said, just because the length is there doesn't mean the show isn't going to have slow down to a slug. I'm not saying it's going to do that. Daredevil's already quite a slow show anyways, which is fine, and it works for that. The thing that scares me is if the show comes to like a halt in the story where you just kind of go off and do something else and it doesn't really need to happen. It's more like
slow burn works.
Stretching it out.
You just need payoff. Because you're not burning to anything if there's no payoff.
But
Daredevil, the original show, it had the slow burn episodes, but there was always payoff with every episode.
Yeah. So why are they doing 2 episodes as 5 and 6 together? Like, it's kind of like, well, I thought we're going back to that sort of format or something similar to it. So why do they need to release two episodes simultaneously? You know what I mean? And you could argue that, yeah, they, instead of doing like a whole hour 20 episode length, which they have done before,
Yeah.
but mainly for like finales and stuff. But and you could argue then you're getting this big story in these two episodes, this little arc, I guess you could say. And to fully flesh it out, you do need these two episodes hand in hand, like a part one and a part two, which is fine. Shows have done that before. But because of the track record that we've had so far, I mean, Echo released it all in one day, and, it
But
kind
that
of.
was more of a, let's just get it out there, and then it's done. Then we don't want people talking about this for 5 weeks.
Yeah, and that's fine, but I don't know. Again, like we were saying, like Brave New World was the real test for Marvel Studios, and it's come out. Daredevil is like the ultimate test, I think, especially when it comes to the TV side of things. I know that they're already in like early production for the second season, so they must
The
already
filming?
have good faith in
The filming?
this. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So,
You filming?
it's we'll have to wait and see for ourselves. I think if episode one and two come out and they leave me quite satisfied as like an episode one and episode two, I won't worry then going forward. Unless, let's say, episode three, when it releases the week after, that kind of gets bunged down quite heavily, and it's like, oh, okay, right, I'm back to being not so sure about this. But if episode one and episode two are good and are fucking great, I have no worries then. Unless episode three brings it down.
Well, yeah, look. I've got a feeling episode 1 is going to be, here's where the characters are now. Here is, like you said in the trailer, here's the line that were crossed. And then I think episode 2 is actually going to be like the true episode 1. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but...
Or what makes a bit more sense to me is like, I won't say here for spoilers because, you've had a really good theory and I completely agree with that theory. I don't want to say it
yeah,
here.
especially with 2 week out now. It's...
Exactly, yeah. I don't want to say anything, but let's say there's an event that happens in this show. An event, I mean, in like, it can be anything. It can be a new thing showing up. It can be a twist in the story. It can
Here's
be
the
this,
thing.
that, or the other. That's what I'm saying as an event. That event is either going to happen at the start of the show or in the middle of the show, just because of these two episodes joined together for 1 and 2 or 5 and 6.
I'm telling you what episode 5 and 6 is right now.
The event.
Punisher arc.
Okay.
That, to me, kind of makes... I thought probably Punisher would be like an end of season sort of thing. But if there's like Punisher had, the actual show Punisher, he had his own shit going on, and then there was like a 2 episode arc right in the middle. It's like, fuck me, everything's just weighing us down. Well, I need to sort this out. To be honest, same with Daredevil season 2 as well. He had the Punisher going on. He had the blacksmith stuff with the heroin going on, kind of linked up with the Punisher stuff. There was the Hand, Stick, Elektra. Just everything were beating him down in season 2 of Daredevil. Like all these things at once. So I can imagine like episode 5 and 6 might be I'm in the middle of summer here, trying to get this Muse guy, and then fuck me, Frank's back in town. Well, maybe I help Frank with something, then Frank helps me with something. Who knows?
That's a possibility, yeah. I think there's loads of possibilities with it. Like I said, the event, you know what I'm talking about. I think that's also a possibility. There's also, you brought up, rightly, you have brought up the whole, crossing the line stuff, which we know is something in the trailer. We don't really, it's not confirmed that we see.
Yeah, because
he mentions it.
Yeah, he stops being Daredevil. So I think episode 1 will be we know why he stopped being Daredevil. That's that, and then by the end of episode 2 is building back up to him being Daredevil again, or at least coming to terms with it. and having to jump back into action in some way where he don't want to.
It could be. I mean, like at the end of the day, they could do it in like a flashback episode. I mean, they've done flashback episodes in Daredevil
Daredevil's
already.
built on flashbacks.
Exactly.
And it
So
does them really well.
they can do they can do that for, say, if it is for 5 and 6 or whatnot. We just don't know yet. We don't know the time frame of what's happening with this show. I mean, like I said, the only thing I'm gonna say is, like, I hope it's fucking good, and I hope it's lived up to the hype and worth the wait, because it means a lot to a lot of people, and you know, even the cast behind it have been like very vocal about, yeah, we need to get this right, otherwise, what's the point? So,
Do you know when I
yeah.
were like when I were kind of like on board with this, and it's like it's when Burnfall came back, because he said for years, I ain't coming back unless they do it right and they do justice to this character. So that's one thing that's got me like, fuck yeah. And like I said, before we move on to the next topic, which is kind of Daredevil related, and then the other one's kind of Daredevil related as well. We've got a Daredevil day-to-day, Kyle. Just want to say thanks to the, Save Daredevil movement. Especially when you put it into comparison against something like the Release the Snyder Cut people who were harassing studio execs, sending death threats and stuff like that. But then you get the other side of it with the Save Daredevil movement, and we're doing charity events, just making the voices be heard. That's it. Had a nice petition, and they went around it the right way instead of threatening with violence and stuff like that. So we're 2 weeks out now, Kyle, today, and I can't wait. So let's move on to our next topic. Boom, what do you know? It's Daredevil related. Kinda. So we mentioned Brad Winderbaum earlier. You always know when there's a Disney Plus show coming out, because he is the head of Marvel TV. He is the Kevin Feige of Marvel TV, Brad Winderbaum. He's speaking about other Defenders. And he said, look, there's stuff that you can put on a comic page. If you can draw it, it can happen. But in real life, there's actors, there's contracts, it's getting everyone there. People have got busy schedules. But we are exploring doing other Defenders shows and bringing people back. So, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Danny Rand. Obviously, we know John's back. We know Charlie's back. But, first of all, if they was going to bring back any show from the Netflix era of Marvel, what would you want it to be? Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, because I think I know which mine would be.
I would very much. It's hard to say because, other than Daredevil,
which is all I wanted.
Which is, yeah, we got Daredevil. I think the thing is, Daredevil's got like a perfect track record when it comes to this stuff. I mean, even in the Defenders show, he was like the only real good part of it. I mean, obviously with Elektra and stuff, that was cool as well. But the other Defenders, their shows don't have a perfect track record. So if I were to pick one, it's hard to say. If I had to pick one, and we get a solid, critically a great show, and it does what the first season did, it would be Jessica Jones. But if they are trying to do the Defenders again, what's that?
You need Tennant back for that. I don't think it'll ever capture it without David Tennant back.
Not necessarily. I think they just need a really interesting villain to put in there, and someone to really sort of have a nice contrast between the hero and the villain. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I know season 2 wasn't the strongest. I didn't watch it myself because I just heard nothing but bad things. So I didn't bother. I didn't want to waste my time, because these other shows as well that I've heard are not so great. Luke Cage, Iron Fist. I started Luke Cage. I got halfway through, same as you, Colin. It was weird that we both got through halfway through the show and then we stopped watching it because they killed off.
I finished Luke Cage.
Oh, did you finish it?
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I finished it. It's just I didn't
finish it.
I've always said the first 7 episodes with Cottonmouth are fucking spectacular. And then the dip in quality once Mahershala Ali is no longer in the show. Sorry, spoilers. is insane. It's like a fucking, like a flick of a switch, and it just went from fucking Daredevil quality and Jessica Jones season 1 quality to what the fuck am I watching? And that were kind
Yeah.
of the
So
tell-all tale for Iron Fist coming later on.
yeah, and I'd say I'd want Luke Cage back if they're gonna do the Defenders again, or if they're no, I want Luke Cage back if they want to do the Defenders again. But ideally, if they're gonna do the Defenders, I would love them to do Iron Fist good. That means I don't want an actor that's complaining about not wanting to do his own stunts and then a couple of years later saying, "Oh, I want to come back and be Iron Fist."
Yeah, I want
No,
a
mate.
job.
No, no one fucking wants
Should
you.
have tried
Sorry.
harder the first time.
There you go. And that's where I stand with it because Iron Fist is such a cool character, and I'm kind of still not over how they kind of botched it with Defenders and even in the show, his own show. So Iron Fist or Luke Cage, one of them two. But if they're not doing the
What about
Defenders,
Together Heroes for Hire?
Jessica Jones.
What
What's that?
If they did a Heroes for Hire episode? I know they did a backdoor pilot for Heroes for Hire in Luke Cage season 2, and do you know what? Out of all the episodes of Luke Cage season 2, the one with Danny and Luke together was pretty good. I did enjoy it because obviously they've got their team. Well, their little duo Heroes for Hire. But yeah, look, when it comes to the Defenders, and I've always said this, Jessica Jones season 1 I think is just as good as any of the seasons of Daredevil. The first half of Luke Cage is just as good as well. Iron Fist season 1 is complete dog shit. Defenders is fine, it's serviceable. It could have been a lot better though. It could have been. I've rewatched it recently, and it hurt me. The thing I didn't like about it is it could have been so much better than what it was.
I'll say this for Defenders. As the show Defenders, it's more of a bump in the road for when you're rewatching Daredevil because it's kind of essential for watching Daredevil.
I've had lads at work watching Daredevil, and I say when you get to end of season 2, I'm sorry, but you need to watch this. I'm not going to make you watch the other shows, but you're going to start season 3 and go, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
So
I think, yeah, when it comes to sort of between season 2 and 3, that's where like the dip happens with Daredevil, but it's not necessarily anything to do with it heavily involves Daredevil, the story does, but the show itself is not good, and that's not because of Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's just the story the story it's heavily connected to Daredevil. But anyways, I'll say this: just as long as if they're gonna do something like this, then don't involve something like that again, because if it fucking sucks, then we're gonna have another shit show, a season of whatever to watch to get through to like from season 1 to season 4, for example, for Daredevil. So let's not do that again, please, because that was not good. I mean, it was cool to see them all together on the screen. Yeah, was it done well? Fucking no. I mean, it was annoying even more so because you had Sigourney Weaver in there, and it was like, this is a fucking shit show. Like, I can't believe you've watched this.
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, no, but look, if I were going to have one of the shows, I wouldn't do Jessica Jones because I don't think you could make a season that was as good as season 1 without David Tennant in it, and his character's dead. I wouldn't do Luke Cage because season 2 of Luke Cage were horrible. Do you know what? Out of the season 2s, out of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist had the better season 2 out of them 3. And it feel like the quality of the show coming up just a little bit. But if I was going to do anything, I'd say Heroes for Hire. But then again, it's weird because Finn Jones were fantastic in Game of Thrones. And when it was coming up to it, Iron Fist, we got the Game of Thrones guy. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, he's brilliant in that. He's only got a small role, but whenever he's on screen, he's great, and he just did not show up for Iron Fist at all. It seems like, I've got a Marvel job now. I've made it. Don't have to try. It's like the complete opposite of what Charlie Cox did. Like, Charlie Cox has made the fans fall in love with him.
I want to say as well, it's not necessarily Defenders, but it is connected to this Netflix Daredevil Defenders universe. Punisher, I wouldn't mind something with Punisher if there's something to be made. I don't want them just kind of bringing it out for the sake of just bringing out a
With
Punisher show.
yeah, we
They
talked
need
about
to
this
have
before,
something
haven't we?
there.
Where because we know Marvel is interested in doing Punisher season 3. It's just I don't want to take Punisher away from Daredevil because I love that duo. And when we see it this year, be the first time we've seen it, seeing them two characters together since 2016, nearly 10 years.
Yeah, and I don't want the Punisher show to be like, yeah, it's fine, but the Daredevil stuff is awesome because then you're falling back into that. When
Yeah,
Daredevil shows up, he makes everything better. Like, there's the exception of obviously No Way Home, but when Daredevil shows up in Echo, for example, or She-Hulk, it's like that's all I want to watch. And you know, and like I gave the shows a go. I did give She-Hulk a go. I found it quite not so great in some parts. It was a fun little show, whatever. Echo really wanted to give it a go, but then it kind of like did the Secret Invasion thing where it just kind of went at the end, and that really sort of like brought it to a lower score
yeah.
for me overall. But and then obviously you've got Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is currently out on Disney Plus, the animated
Which
show.
I've heard really good
Charlie,
things about.
I watched the first two episodes. There's some bits in it I like, but the animation style is so fucking jarring. Like
I've watched
everything's
the
so
first
bright.
4 episodes.
Yeah, I'm not on board with it. I
I've quite
wanted to
enjoyed
give it
it.
a go. I like the Spider-Man. He's really grown on me. It's just everything else. I'm just like I don't really care.
Yeah,
And like I've not even watched. I've seen like the fight between Daredevil and Spider-Man, and that's
I
fine,
ain't
I
seen
guess.
that
But
yet.
yeah, that's a topic for another time. But yeah, like I said, Daredevil is. I don't want that to be what happens in the Punisher. I want Punisher to stand its own feet. It can have a Daredevil cameo. I'm not saying it can't have that, but it needs to be able to stand on its own feet
Yeah, no, definitely.
while having that cameo.
Right. While you were speaking of Spider-Man, I should have just said this. While speaking of Spider-Man, so let's just pretend we're speaking about Spider-Man again.
Hot dog.
Yeah. Charlie Clocks. Yeah, he tells the time.
Charlie Hot Dog.
Sounds a bit sus. Charlie Cox has just been doing an interview with GQ. He's been asking him all sorts of questions, and they've asked him about the possibility of being in, other Marvel films, and he's said, look, I'd love to be in one of them Avengers films. I would love to be in another Spider-Man film, because I think we forget, yeah, he was in a Spider-Man film. Even though he wasn't Daredevil, he was just Matt Murdock. He were there. He says he'd love to be in another Spider-Man film, and he says, not only so he could be in these movies, but he says he's actually turned into quite a geek for the character, and he knows how much it means for the character, and how cool it would be to be in, one of these films as Daredevil. And he also says he said it would open up opportunities to be in other movies as well. So he's being a bit honest about that, which we love to hear. But Kyle, now that we know that Spider-Man 4 might be on the bit of the back burner now until after the next two Avengers films happen, do you think there's a chance that we get Charlie? Because you got to hope by then that the multiverse is closed in some way. We want this street level story.
I'm still holding out for him appearing in Secret Wars. Like even if he's in the background, just there for whatever reason, I don't care. I just want him there because he is basically a part of this universe, and he deserves to be there. As for Spider-Man, yes, as long as Sony aren't being a bunch of fuckheads and trying to do another multiversal bullshit, then yeah, that's where I'm at with it. If it's Spider-Man street level, then Daredevil needs to be there. It's not even like a maybe; it's like a must. I think me, Callum. I love the Spider-Man character, and
No.
will, I will probably love the fourth film with whatever they do if it is just street level. But I'm telling you now, I am going to be very, very let down if Daredevil does not appear in that because I feel like there's a foundation there already set
Yeah,
within the
it's
Spider-Man arc. It's like you've put in there as the little hint there is like, oh yeah, Daredevil's here and he's the lawyer of Spider-Man. That's a cool cameo, but that instead of just making that a cameo, have that like a set, like a stone to sort of bounce on and
connect these worlds.
onto something bigger. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, look, 'cause I feel like people have been set in the ways now, and I think everyone wants Scorpion to be the villain of Spider-Man 4. I've seen a really cool theory actually. You know when in No Way Home, when the Goblin cuts off one of Doc Ock's arms. Yeah, everyone's saying that's gonna be Scorpion's reclaimed tech and use it as his tail.
that would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be very cool. I think the
Now,
only issue with that
did
is
it go back to that universe when it was?
no, not necessarily. I don't know. I think the line there can blur a little bit. The issue I have with it is you're gonna have a certain amount of people then complaining. It's like, oh, you know, you've kicked off, Tom Spider-Man to be his own thing, have his own, moments, have his own villains, and it's like, oh no, well technically your villain came from the Sam Raimi universe, Tobey Maguire universe, which
It's just a bit of
it's
tech,
cool.
though, isn't it?
It is, but so was a lot of the stuff in the villains for the Spider-Man films. It does revolve a lot around tech. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I think that's a very cool theory, and I think that'd be very very cool to do. I just think there's going to be some people that will complain about it. I won't. I'll be like, cool, whatever. But I
People
can
complain
see
about everything.
people, I can see like a fair few people saying like, "Oh, you're not really doing justice or whatever." But I agree with Scorpion. Scorpion should be. They've set that post-credit scene up. He's a great actor. I'm pretty sure he'll say
Michael Mando,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it.
So let's.
We're at this stage where it's like we've got pieces in place now. We've got Charlie Cox saying, yes, I will absolutely do this. You've got people like Michael Mando going, yeah, I will absolutely do this. And then you've got Sony going, let's go give 25 million to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to appear again. You need to earn it. I want to see them again together. I loved them together. Note gave me, quite a feeling like when they were swinging around together, swinging off each other. That were brilliant. But you need to earn it. I feel like by that third film, we definitely had earned it. But let's build it back up. Let's get Daredevil in there. And, bring... I think it would be brilliant to bring Spider-Man back down to ground of, like he's fought aliens, he's fought monsters from the multiverse, like the Lizard, Sandman, Goblin. Maybe Daredevil can show him some real problems.
Another thing as well, I agree with everything you're saying, but another thing as well is Miles. People want to see Miles. And, I watched Homecoming the other day and I'm thinking, like, wow, I didn't realize how much Tom Holland's Spider-Man has grown, even though he's technically, like, not really aged that much in universe, but his character has come such a long way from where he's, like, just this kid, and now he's, like, basically nearly an adult. But not really. He's still a teenager, obviously. But he's got that maturity about him where he's just kind of like he's just grown so much, and it's such a cool thing to see when you go back to the first film because it's like Tom Holland's a great actor and everything, and I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's just you don't see it because he's such a playful Spider-Man. But when you go back to that first film, it's like holy shit, this is like skyrocketed here. So him being, alongside or, mentoring or at least just being with Miles, he doesn't necessarily have to be like older. He is a very well experienced Spider-Man, so maybe he can still be a somewhat of a mentor
Yeah.
and a friend to Miles. So that makes sense. If you keep it street level, you have Daredevil in this first one, you have Scorpion as well, and then you go on to your second one, which they're obviously, well, the fifth one, which they're probably going to do, then you could maybe start laying the seeds in for Miles, and with whatever they want to do with the fifth one, and then for your final one, bring Miles in, all glory. It feels like it works so well in that
Yeah.
sort of arc.
Go on, you want to say it? I know you want to say it.
What?
The banned phrase.
What's
No,
the banned phrase?
The banned word, sorry.
What's the banned word?
Oh, we need to elaborate on this because it seems like a bit of racism. Kyle kept saying bombastic. Could help.
Oh, right, bombastic. Yeah, I was like, where the fuck are you going with this?
Yeah. Say the banned word, Kyle.
Bombastic.
Oh, hell yeah. Right. Yeah, look, like I say, I agree with quite a lot of what you were saying as well. We're at a stage now where we've seen Tom Spider-Man grow. Huh?
Hire us, Marvel. We can do this.
I don't want to be hired because then I'll know things. Look, we've seen Tom grow, which was the idea. It's happened. Let's get his lawyer friend in there and make me happy because I'm only cared about my happiness.
I want to say one last thing.
No.
The symbiote stuff, just leave it the fuck alone. Just forget about it. Didn't happen. That post-credit scene with Tom Hardy and the Venom didn't fucking happen. That universe is dead now. It doesn't fucking matter. If you want to forget a post-credit scene, forget all the ones in the Sony verse movies. Just forget all of them.
I don't know why I'm here, but I think it has something to do with Spider-Man.
Exactly. Vulture's in fucking Sony's universe, so if that's sticking to canon and they want to keep it that way, then you've kind of fucked the Vulture character. And every time they seem to do symbiote Spider-Man, whether it be in movies or games, I just don't think they can do it. I think the only time it's actually gone well was back in the 90s Spider-Man animated show. That was done fairly okay, but anything else, man, like, they failed at the movies. Spider-Man 3, as much as I enjoyed Tobey and Sam Raimi, it sucks. And the Spider-Man 2 game that came out recently as well, it felt like that was very undercooked. It just feels like they've been given the symbiote and they just don't know what to do with it. I feel like that, if they're going to do that, that needs an arc of its own. You know, you've got Spider-Man with the Avengers, Spider-Man on street level, and then Spider-Man and the symbiotes and stuff like that.
Hell yeah. Right, guys, that will do us for today. Me and Kyle have been yapping. But, yeah, we will see you when we next see you, I suppose. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe Friday. Maybe Saturday. Maybe Sunday.
Holy shit, that episode of Invincible that we didn't watch together, that was so good.
Yeah, it was.
That was so fucking cool. Like, it felt like 2 episodes in one.
Yeah.
See, Marvel, that's what you should do. Fucking fill out your episodes. Give us good content.
But they're giving us 2 episodes in one day. Twice.
Yeah, I know. But they should do better than that. They should learn off of Invincible. Maybe not with them releasing how they released the episodes for, the previous season, 6 months fucking wait.
Well, I tell you though, Mark goes demon mode as soon as he gets in that suit, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like he's got the symbiote on him.
Hell yeah. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Me and Kyle are going to talk about Invincible.